fine thing that you did, Jenny.
Yes, Jenny. You saved my life.
And mine, too. Thank you very much. I realized that I had ruined everything. But I could not allow Clint to be killed.
Well, maybe you haven't ruined anything at all.
You heard Randolph. I have disgraced him. He will never speak to me again, much less marry me.
But he's got to marry you. Miss Viki here and Clint's life depend on it.
Mr. Lord, I'm Victoria Buchanan. May I join you, please?
You're Clint's wife?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Forgive me for staring. I noticed over at the saloon how much you look like Virginia, but up close, the resemblance is astounding.
That's one of the things I'd like to explain to you.
Mrs. Buchanan, I was jailed without cause, disgraced in front of most of Buchanan City. All I want to do is drink my whiskey in peace, then return to San Francisco and turn the building of my railroad in this territory over to someone else.
No, you can't go back without making up with Jenny.
Well, you're a very forward young woman. My relationship to Virginia is none of your concern.
My very existence depends on your relationship to Jenny. You see, you two are my great-grandparents.
I beg your pardon.
It's true. Please don't dismiss me as a mad woman, although that's certainly what I did to Blaze when she came to tell me that Clint was alive. My husband and I live in Landview, Pennsylvania. But we live in the year 1988. We also have a ranch in Arizona. Well, one day my husband went riding and he didn't come back. He disappeared. We believed that he was dead, but he wasn't. He had somehow managed to travel through time and he wound up here in 1888.
Mm-hmm. And because you loved him so much, you followed him.
No, I mourned him. I grieved for my loss. And I tried to adjust to life without him. But then a few days ago, Blaze came to my house in Pennsylvania and told me that my husband was still alive. You see, somehow she, too, had managed to travel through time, and she found her way to Pennsylvania.
Mrs. Buchanan, this is preposterous.
Yes, I realize that, because that's exactly how I felt. But you see, my son, Kevin, he believed Blaze. And I guess I wanted so badly to believe that my husband was still alive, I followed her back to Arizona. I went out into the desert looking for her, and I came across this old Indian chief named Clear Eyes. And he was the one who helped me return here to the past. Mr. Lord, Clint tried to come home many, many times, but he failed. He thought he could never get home again. That's why he proposed marriage to Ginny. And I believe that I was permitted this trip to my past in order to, number one, stop the marriage, and number two, bring my husband back to the future, and to ensure the future generations of all the Buchanans and the Lords.
I applaud your fanciful imagination, but I will not fall prey to it. You're wasting your time and mine, because Virginia and I were not meant to be together. I understand that now, and I accept it.
But I am living proof that you were meant to be together. I mean, would I look this much like her if we weren't related?
I've had enough of this nonsense. I have to get back to the railroad camp.
Mr. Lord, please. You defended Ginny's honor. You risked your life for her. Can you honestly tell me you have no feelings for her?
No. I do have feelings for her. From the first day we met, I was intrigued by her strength, and honesty, her gentle nature, her unselfish concern for others. She's a rare woman indeed, and one I would be very pleased to spend the rest of my life with. But circumstances simply dictate other plans for us.
Oh, Ginny thought for years that she couldn't have children. That's why she didn't want to see you anymore in San Francisco.
Mrs. Buchanan.
I'm sorry. A lot of things have changed in the last 100 years. One of them is that men and women are much more open with each other about a much wider variety of subjects, including personal ones. And we take a bigger interest in our friends and their problems. We try and help.
Here in 1888, it's considered meddling and manipulation. My future with Virginia is mine to decide without outside interference. Now, I have a long ride ahead of me, and I have to stop wasting my time. Thank you.
Where are you going, Ginny? To the hotel. I will prepare for my journey to St. Louis.
Whoa, just hold on a second. I think you ought to just stay put right here until we find Viki and Clint.
Mm-hmm. And Randolph Lord. Oh, please, Blaze, I have no doubt but that he is miles away by now.
Well, then let's just think of a plan to get him back here.
Buddy, I think that we have just about planned ourselves out.
Why is everybody giving up hope?
Well, sometimes it's best to accept defeat, son, and do what you can do to cut your losses.
But we've got to find a way to get Miss Ginny and Mr. Randolph Lord married.
Did you find Viki?
No, May. I couldn't find her.
Oh, maybe she's given up hope just like Ginny.
I'm so very sorry that I failed you, Clint.
Failed me. Ginny, you saved my life.
But you have no future unless...
Virginia, may I have a word with you?
We thought you'd left town.
Well, I did saddle my horse, head for the camp, but he came up lame on me. Perhaps Providence interceded once again when we tried to go our separate ways, only to draw us together again.
As I told you before, it was not fate or destiny that brought you to Buchanan City this time, Randolph.
I believe it was. I know I'm a very realistic man, but I'm also a very practical man. You're an admirable and very beautiful woman. Only a fool would turn his back on you, and I'm no fool. I'd like very much to stay here and build my railroad.
Well, we'd just be mighty pleased to have you join our little community, Mr. Lord.
Well, it depends on Virginia. If she can forgive my lack of understanding and my stubborn pride, she's able and willing to accept the future destiny obviously has planned for us, then...
All right!
Clint, I must ask your forgiveness, too. I know now that you are indeed an honorable man with immense integrity. I don't pretend to understand everything your wife told me, but I'm thankful for the love and care you showed my Virginia.
You talked to my wife?
A couple of hours ago.
So she didn't give up hope after all?
Well, I'm afraid she might have gotten from our conversation the notion that Jenny and I would not get together again.
Oh, my God. I gotta find her. Excuse me.
Oh, we can get Ginny and Randolph together. We can't lose Viki now.
All right, let's go. Come on. Here come Randolph.
Excuse me. Have you seen my wife?
No, sir.
Well, if she shows up in the next little while, would you ask her to stay put until I get back?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Oh, tarnation, woman, you almost gave me a heart attack. Where have you been?
I went for a walk. I was down by a river. I was pondering our fate and wondering how on earth we're ever going to get back to the children.
Well, that is a piece of cake now, thanks to you.
What?
I don't know what it was you said to Mr. Randolph Lord, but it set him to thinking. And he came riding back into town, announced his intentions to stay right here in Buchanan City with Miss Ginny's approval.
Oh, honey, I can't believe it. I was terrified when he left.
Well, there's no need to fear for the future anymore. Wedding bells are going to ring for your great-grandparents. The past is all intact, and you and I can finally go home.